We're Bison! We are impacted! We're Bison! We're ready to get up! We want to win! Light the fire of power and make us free! We never break down! We want to win! We are impacted! The best team!
Hello and welcome back to episode 46 of Impacted, coming to you live via the Total Nonstop Impact Network on YouTube and Twitch. I'm your host Bison. Today I'm joined by Mr. Daily Giggle himself, the Joker, and of course the man simply known as Steve. Hello fellas, how you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. How about yourself, Steve? You all right?
Yeah, we're all fine this end. Cheers.
Good. I hear you've got some other things to be getting involved in later on after the show today. So I'm pretty excited to see where that one ends up. It's up to you if you want to mention it, Steve. What's the exciting news that you've got?
Well, everyone out there, we have over on WrestleBuddy, we have a interview with the one and only Rohit Raju.
Oh man, the mocker skin manimal. Oh yeah,
indeed. Yeah.
Oh, it's got a cut of promo like he did with the Bison.
It was
Yeah,
that was
awesome.
That was iconic, mate. That was iconic. I couldn't believe it when he did that. You know, I was like, you know, when I try and do the interviews, I do try and do something a little bit different or something that you don't normally necessarily see from others, and that was my thing. I got him to do a promo on me. And it was totally off the cuff. It was totally off the cuff. You know, it was really good.
Awesome.
It was really good. Yeah, I think you might be able to get him to do it, Steve. You know, but you have to remember it's kayfabe, right? So you know he's going to call you everything under the sun, but you just got to smile, grin and bear it. You know what I mean? Just got to grin and bear it. It's all good. I didn't get the Bison heel going at that point, but I thought, you know what, he's just going to totally blast me away, so there's just no point. But it was absolutely, it was a great interview. So don't forget, I'm not sure when that one's going out, Steve. You got any idea when that's going out?
No, not as yet, but keep your eyes peeled.
So that's quite exciting stuff for Steve there. He's getting to do an interview with the legend, the mocker skin manimal himself, Rohit Raju. So keep your eyes open for that one, guys. I think he's quite excited. He's a bit nervous. I think it's the first interview you've ever done, Steve, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So he's feeling a bit nervous, guys. So he could do with a bit of support. So if anyone in the chat wants to offer some support to the legend, Steve, simply Steve, for his very first interview, I'm sure it'd be very much appreciated. Okay, so obviously we're building up in the chat a little bit. Can I just say at this point, make sure that you give us a good thumbs up. So remember, obviously, at the end of the day, if you're new to the channel, hit subscribe and don't forget to give the bell a little tickle, a squeeze, or whatever it is that you want to do to never miss any of the great content coming from us in the UK and, of course, the US teams as well. So it's all good. It's all good. Now, guys, we have got one hell of a impacted recap of the week, haven't we? We really have. We've got loads of stuff to talk about from this past week. Not only what occurred on Impact last week, but also a few things that have happened since. But one of the first things I want to talk about, guys, is there's so many rumors flying around at the moment. Is it Braun for glory? Are we going to see Buddy Matthews, as he's now called? Are we going to see Buddy Matthews turn up on Impact? And now, coming from like the true fake news man himself, I think we all know who I'm talking about. He seems to think Bray Wyatt could be on the way. What are your thoughts on all this, guys? Possible signings for Impact? What are your thoughts? Let's go with Steve first. I know that he sort of kind of probably knows a little bit more about some of the WWE guys, possibly. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, Well, personally, I think that Buddy Matthews, as we'll call him now, and I believe Titan is what he's going by now. Braun, I
Braun
believe.
Strowman.
Yeah, I believe.
Yeah,
he's
I
going
saw
by
something
Titan.
about that. Well, he was using the
Yeah.
hashtag Titan, wasn't he? So I'm assuming that possibly that could be a new name. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that if I'm going on a percentage, I would say those two are maybe like 80 to 90% would come to Impact, and I think it is very likely we will see them. Bray, for me, I would say like 60 to 70. I think it is more likely we will see him in Impact, but it's still like a maybe.
Yeah.
One thing I'll say about Braun and the Titan, I can't. It sounds so much so similar to Triton back in the day.
Triton, yeah, I remember Triton. That's interesting.
It was so awful, bless him.
Yeah, but Titan, Braun the Titan. I like it. I quite like it.
I do like it. Yeah.
What about you, Joe? What are your thoughts on Buddy Braun or Titan as we're calling him now, or the possibility of Bray Wyatt? I got to add my bit in a second. What about you?
I think it's fantastic news. I really Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman, two guys I paid quite a bit of attention to, and either of them coming to Impact Wrestling is going to be massive. Especially Braun Strowman with all the big guys they've got now, like Big Cass and Doc Gallows and Joe Doring. Bray Wyatt, everyone's expecting him to come in and continue a similar character as he is now. But one thing, Bray Wyatt has got a huge. He's like Sami Callihan. He's a very, very good wrestler. Just doesn't show it. And he's got a really, really good creative mind. So he doesn't have to. He's not. I don't think he's going to come to Impact Wrestling and go down the dark and dead route like he's done before. As interesting as that would be, although seeing what Si Young and Kimberly are doing, that has me thinking that if Bray Wyatt is coming and that's where he's going to slot into, I think he might be like transitioning over from what James Mitchell's left off if he comes in. And as for Buddy Matthews, I haven't seen a lot of him on NXT, but I've heard a lot of good things, and I'm looking forward to seeing another guy WWE is let down come into Impact Wrestling and just prove everybody wrong and watch him become a megastar again.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing for me, okay? I love, I actually a big fan of Strowman, so I'm interested in what he can do. I think he's a massive beast of a man. Some of the big guys that we've got coming into Impact in the recent last couple of years, I mean, we've got some big guys. So we could see some proper like Hoss matches going on with the likes of Titan, Morrissey, W. Morrissey now, Moose. There's some giant guys on the Impact roster. He would be another one. Buddy Matthews would be great, I think, for the X division.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm definitely interested in seeing what he could probably bring to the table.
Or
now,
he could be elevated into the main event, couldn't he, Buddy Matthews?
Who knows? The guy is very, very talented, and we know
One thing I'll add to Joe, when he was saying about Wyatt coming in and sort of going for what Mitchell was doing, we've seen with Sue kind of maybe like doing like kind of collecting people and could be doing a faction. We could see Wyatt kind of coming in and doing like a new church with like Sue Young, Kimberly, and collecting a female new church. That could be very interesting.
That's something that I was thinking, the way Bray Wyatt gathered everyone together for the Wyatt family and slowly built them up after Luke Harper with his son came into the roster, and he slowly started building everybody up. Then it was a good solid faction, and they had a good run in WWE until they blew it basically. Well, Vince McMahon blew it, but the rest of themselves did a great job.
Yeah, I totally agree. Now, for me, moving in with Bray, the way I see it is that the guy's incredibly creative, and I just don't see the kind of creative juices that someone like Bray Wyatt has working with AEW, but I do see it working on Impact Wrestling because we're not afraid to try something a little bit different. We're not afraid to kind of like, you know, go down that kind of creepy, that weird route or whatever it is you want to call it. You know, bottom line is, I think, you know, he's got some crazy ass ideas up there that he was probably never allowed to use up north. And now there's a possibility that he could have the potential to do that. And you know, so I'm quite excited because if they do sign Bray, I'm very excited to see exactly what he could come up with. Again, like I say, it's a long shot. It's a 50-50 shot, probably on all of them. We just don't know. But it would be amazing if they sort of kind of just suddenly brought in 3 big names. Because let's face the fact, Braun Strowman was on 2 million, you know, 2 million a year with up north. You know, Bray Wyatt was featured regularly as a big dude. You know, he was a big deal in the East. So both of these guys could be big deals in Impact Wrestling, and I hope that we get to see that. So, yeah, interesting. We've got some stuff coming in the chat already. Courtney seems to agree with stuff that we're saying, which is great. Lakers is here. Welcome to the house, Lakers. Nice to see you. Always a pleasure to have you in the chat. So, Joker's in there, and Simply Steve's joining in as well. So, it's good to see we're all getting involved in the chat today. So, it's all good. Now, also, probably some of the biggest news coming from this past week was Deonna Purrazzo retaining her title at Empower against Melina, then attacking Mickie James the night after NWA 73. Now, what's interesting about this one, I'm going to go back to Steve on this one, because Steve stated a couple of weeks ago, it might even have been last week actually, that he had absolutely no interest in Deonna versus Melina. Wasn't sure it was going to be any good. Was not invested in it whatsoever. I've got to ask you now, Steve, right? Did you watch this match and what did you think of it?
I think what I meant was I had no interest in the tag match between Trey, Melina, and Raywall and Deonna, because it didn't feel like it moved the story on. That's what I meant.
Okay. All right, I misunderstood. So what were your thoughts on this match then?
The match itself, for me, was fantastic. And I'll be honest, I was really confused by the end of the match, the finish of the match, because Deonna spent the entire time working the leg and the knee, and then won the match with an armbar.
Well,
so,
I think I think there was a real injury. I'm not.
Yeah,
I think Melina definitely injured her knee. That wasn't a work.
But I felt like it would have. The storytelling in this match I thought was fantastic, and I felt like it really would have been capped off had Deonna won it with a figure 4.
That was great. The way she's mucking Charlotte Flair and Ric Flair with the figure 4, that was a real highlight there. We've just got word from Mia, guys. AC Romero's asked for his release from Impact Wrestling. Have you guys heard about this?
Yes, we've heard about it. It's been around over a couple of days now. You know, I have to say I'm not surprised. He's moving on purely and simply because we haven't seen him for what got to be since April now. I guess it's quite a while. And you know, from my perspective, I was never a massive AC fan anyway, so I sort of kind of wanted to see more of Larry D in singles matches, to be honest. So I you know, for me, it's not a big deal. I think it opens up, you know, the roster a little bit for maybe some new guys to come in. It is a shame because at the end of the day, Triple XL was sort of kind of one of the only established tag teams, I guess.
Yeah.
So that is a bit of a shame. But I would like to see Larry D go on a singles run. The guy's got in phenomenal shape, so I'm excited about that. But yeah, it is a shame. But you know, obviously AC's got to do what's best for him. That's my thoughts on it. You know, that's my thoughts.
I agree that, you know, it was a shame we never really got to see Triple XL do much, considering they seem to be gelling at the end. And it does beg the question, like we always complain WWE signs talent and then never really does much with them, and really Impact signed AC and I can't really think of anything they did with him.
We went for the X Division title a couple of times, and he went for the. It was more of a +1 really for a lot of the big matches, which is a shame. But
That's what I mean, yeah.
finding out he's asked to move on, I'm sad. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked because I didn't know he'd done it. But like you guys have said, he wasn't being used. He's been away from because of he's been diagnosed with COVID. Then he's injured his leg. So he said time to really sit down and assess where he's going and what he wants to do. And it's pretty obvious the way things are going in the tag division. Now, there isn't much direction for him and Larry D. So
they kind of became the new Reno Scum, sadly, didn't they?
Yeah. So it's a shame because I would have loved to see Triple XL and Decay really continue on that feud they started at the start of the year. But AC Romero then ended up having to take time off.
Well, he ended up hospitalised, from what I can gather, because he had COVID-19, didn't he?
Yeah, yeah.
So he ended up getting hospitalised. I think he then had got an injury or something to one of his legs.
He injured his leg after he'd recovered, and he injured it during training.
Yeah. So there was a couple of things in there that didn't pan out for him, which is a real shame.
He's not departed on bad terms, which is the nicest thing.
Yes.
No,
it seems to all be mutual consent and professional.
Yeah, no, exactly. He's done it the right way. He's asked for his release. Impact will potentially do that. Because at the end of the day, who wants an unhappy, performer on your ranks? Nobody, do they? So, at the end of the day, I'm sure they'll let him go, which is great. Welcome, J Bone. It's nice to see you. STP in the house. And of course, there's lots of people starting to join us now, which is great. But going back to Deonna, obviously she retained against Melina, which was, for me, probably match of the night. It was just an outstanding match from everybody. I thought it was a great match. It was a really, I think it really showed, that Melina really was and still is a force to be reckoned with. She didn't go down easy, that's for sure. I think she genuinely got an injury, because I remember at the end of the show she came out with ice on her knee and all sorts. So I'm pretty sure that that was a legit injury there. But yeah, no, I think it was.
Good to see you, Mark.
Fantastic. Yeah, it was nice to see you, Mark. So I thought it was a really good match. Long may Deonna reign. That's all I've got to say. Obviously, the following night we've got she then comes in wearing all black and a hoodie and attacks Mickie James. After her match with, I believe, I can't remember who she was matching though. Was it Kylie Ray?
Yes.
From what I can remember, it was quite a lackluster match, actually. I was not particularly impressed. I wasn't impressed with Kylie the night before either. But there you go. That she's obviously, it's nice to see her back, but I just felt that she wasn't on her top form, which is a real shame. And I didn't think she was on top form against Mickie either. So, which is again a real shame. But it does look like we're clearly setting up Deonna Purrazzo versus Mickie James for Bound for Glory.
Yeah,
I think that's obvious. I think that's going to be a hell of a match. And that's going to draw some people to want to be interested and see how that one pans out. What are your thoughts on possibly a Mickie James Bound for Glory match with Deonna then, guys?
Well, I wrote about this a few weeks ago, saying that they've definitely been building like Mickie, tension between Mickie and Deonna, like with Thunder Rosa having a chance and then Mickie coming in, and then Melina having a chance and Mickie still being there. And I said that Mickie could be one that takes the title from Deonna, and I stand by that.
Okay, what about you, Joe?
To me, it was a bit inevitable. There's no one else on the roster that's going for Deonna Purrazzo at the moment, so it's people from outside. It was going to be Mickie James, or if we were lucky, it was going to be Britt Baker. In my eyes, to go for the title, I was hoping maybe we'd see like Su Yung or Kimberly go for the belt, at least before Bound for Glory. But it seems to be building more towards Mickey James and somebody else versus Deonna Purrazzo and Matthew Raywald at Victory Road, and then Deonna Purrazzo versus Mickey James at Bound for Glory. That's how I see the next big events for Deonna Purrazzo panning out, and I think Deonna Purrazzo is going to beat Mickey James.
Yeah, I do as well. Yeah, I can't see Deonna losing to Mickey James, but one thing's for sure, it'd be a hell of a match.
Yeah.
You know, you've got two fantastic wrestling talents in the ring. I think it's going to be an absolute cracker. But of course, Mickey is no slouch. You know, she's a fantastic talent. She's certainly going to give Deonna a run for her money. That's for sure. Now, moving on from Empower. We also, this past week on Impact, we also had Ace Austin confronting Christian Cage, which I thought was quite a nice promo, actually. And Christian, I thought, was extremely classy in this. What were your thoughts on this one, Joe?
Sorry, I missed what you said.
So we've moved on to Ace Austin confronts Christian Cage.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it was awesome.
I thought it was a really, really good, in-ring promo section. I thought Christian Cage really showed his class as well. I thought it was really good. It's interesting to see the difference in size between Ace and Christian as well.
One thing I love about Ace Austin is his promo work. He's so professional. He's so... You think he's been in the ring, and he's been doing it for 10, 15 years, and his promo work is always bang on point. And if he wants to waste people's time, he'll waste people's time. If he wants to crack a joke, he'll crack a joke. If he wants to insult someone, he'll insult someone. The way he reacts to everything is so brilliant. I love this promo. It really helped put Christian on the spot as well. I don't think Christian was prepared for what Ace Austin was coming out with, and you could tell with Christian's body language and reaction. He was like, "Fucking hell, this guy's good."
No, exactly. Yeah, I think so. I agree. What about you, Steve? What did you think?
Yeah, like Joe said, I think we knew what was coming, but it didn't make it any less enjoyable. The segment was
it's been a bangorama.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and as Joe said, considering that Christian's been in the business for kind of getting on, is it 15 years, something like that?
Yeah, just over 15 years, so 15 years almost.
It's been a while.
Toe to toe with him on the mic, and that's just shows how good Ace is on the microphone.
I think Ace is he's very comfortable, isn't he? I mean, I know that he's got a bit of an acting background. I believe he's performed in musicals and all sorts of stuff like that. I read somewhere that he was like the star of Grease or something in some amateur dramatics group or something. I don't know. He's done a lot of stuff in his past. He's got a bit of a sort of kind of acting background, which I think really helps and comes out in his promos, because his promos are so sincere and smooth that it really just comes across as natural, and it's all flowing straight there and then, no messing about. I think it was great. I just think this was a fantastic promo. And you know what? If Ace Austin took the title off him, I would not be upset. That's a fact. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but for me, if someone like Ace Austin took that title off Christian Cage, what a way to sort of kind of hand off to the would be then the youngest Impact World Champion of all time. It really would. I mean, that's basically how you give somebody the rub, isn't it?
That's how you build a star. And Ace Austin's already huge.
Oh, he's massive. He's a massive star. And I know, Steve, you got your reservations. You don't feel he's been booked as strong as he could have been in recent months. And, I agree with that. But his confidence, his promo work, none of that stuff has ever wavered. And most of the matches that he's lost, he's not necessarily been the one getting pinned. So a lot of the matches they've been in have been multi-man matches. Where you don't. It's very difficult. You can't really count that. I mean, if he was losing loads of one-on-one matches, then I'd sort of kind of agree. But he's not. You know, most of the matches that he ends up on the losing side are multi-man matches. That's kind of the way I feel about it. But
Yeah.
I don't.
The other argument as well you got to look at is Cage has only held the belt for maybe like a couple of weeks, you know, maybe a month. So it's really going to be a hot potato, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
it could be a hot potato if they do it there. I think. Yeah, I don't think he's going to win. I don't think he's going to beat Christian Cage. I really don't. I'm not saying that. But I think that there is a possibility that maybe later on we could see Ace turn up in the Bound for Glory main event.
I think
Ace doesn't turn like a year older, I think, until 25. So he could still win it at Hard to Kill. You know, I think February is when he reaches his birthday, so he's still got a while.
Okay, yeah, I mean there is a possibility of that, but what you have to remember is, I think at the end of the day, no matter what happens, we will have an Impact talent as the world champion come Bound for Glory.
Yeah,
I think if that doesn't happen at Bound for Glory, the Impact fan base are literally going to riot. They're just not going to be happy. You know, you know. I mean, they've been, the way I look at it now, Christian Cage is almost kind of just about acceptable, right? Just acceptable. If he was if it was then go past Bound for Glory and we still don't have an Impact contracted talent carrying that belt, then I think we're going to have a lot of unhappy Impact fans. And I don't think they'll do that. I don't think they'll do that.
No. I can't see him doing that either.
I think Bound for Glory was always the plan. Bound for Glory was always the plan. That whoever was holding that title from AEW or whatever, that was when it was going to end up. You know, because it's the big event.
Yeah.
If you're going to put over one of your own guys, this is where it needs to happen. It has to happen at Bound for Glory. I get it. But so you know, like I said, I think Ace's promo is very underrated. I think people should really take note of how good he is. But there you go. So who knows? Who knows? Ace Austin hopefully head into Victory Road on his own. We'll get to that a little bit later against Christian Cage. I think whatever happens, it's going to be a hell of a main event. That's for sure. Now, something else that happened last week was that we got Josh Alexander offers an open challenge to any former X Division champion this week. So that's going to happen this week on Impact. Now, I just thought we could have a little bit of speculation. Who would we like to see? Who do we think?
Let us know in the chat, guys. Who do you think? Let
us know in the chat. Chuck us some names. You know, who do you think it's going to be, guys? Who do you think it's going to be? Now, for me, we've got a couple of guys that I think it could be. Obviously, we've got Alex Shelley. He's turned up again with regards to doing a lot of. He's been doing some matches again now on the Indies, so there could be maybe Alex is going to come back into the fold. You know, there is a possibility maybe Brian Cage could turn up. Christopher Daniels, the Fallen Angel. You got Kaz, who's recently turned up. He was former world champion. Maybe a low key, someone like that. For me, I'd like to see. The Golden Draw turn up. I'd like to see Jake Chris take on Josh Alexander. I think that would be an amazing match. So, you know, but we're just going to have to wait and see. What are your thoughts on who you think this could be? Let's go with Steve.
Yeah, well, there's a few names like you said, and, you know, someone who has been pushed well on Impact. Let's not forget Chris Sabin, multiple time X Division champion, but someone who I've been, you know, crossing my fingers for, and I think many have, the Amazing Red.
Yeah, funny enough, they were putting some stuff out there, and I did mention Amazing Red as well. I think, I mean, I'm not sure if Amazing Red's retired though. That's the only trouble.
Well,
I'm sure.
I think he's still like part time with New Japan.
Is he?
Yeah, like he still does he did. I don't know what the current situation is with them. But yeah, he is sort of here and there with them, and he is still on their roster page.
Yeah.
But as I say, he was meant to come back.
Saying Austin Aries.
See, well, that's interesting because Austin Aries has been tweeting out all sorts of bits and bobs related to Impact, and possible Impact return and all that. I mean, I've always said that I don't think Austin Aries left on bad terms.
No.
I think the whole no sell thing was all a storyline, and I think there was a plan to
half, weren't it?
I think, and there was a plan to re-sign Aries, but in the end they just couldn't agree. So it didn't. Yeah. So the storyline didn't pan out, and then it ended up being what it was. Yeah. Anyway, what did you think on the Josh Alexander potential opponents, Joe?
Oh, I wish Davey Richards had won the X Division title because I'd love to see him go, because him and at the moment as Davey Richards and Josh Alexander are going from promotion to promotion to promotion in matches against each other, and some of them are awesome. They've been absolutely amazing. I wish Davey Richards was X Division champion at one point, so I could see him and Josh Alexander. I'm hoping maybe Eddie Edwards now goes for it, just for that little bit of the Wolves, the Wolves, and Eddie Edwards was X Division champion, but people have forgotten about it.
That's interesting. Eddie was ex-champion, wasn't he?
He was X Division champion for about a month, I think. Yeah.
There you go. So, I mean, Eddie Edwards versus Josh Alexander. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Brian Cage versus Josh Alexander is going to be awesome if it is Brian Cage. And if they want to bring someone from AEW over, Brian Cage, Frankie Kazarian. God, I'm trying to think of how many of their former X Division champions are over over on AEW now. There's quite a few.
What about Brian Kendricks? What about Brian Kendrick? Hey.
Yeah,
what's he doing these days? Is he still back up north or not? I know he went back up north for a bit, but I'm not sure if he's there at the moment. No. But he would be great. Brian Kendrick would be amazing.
Yeah. Christopher Daniels is another one. I think.
Yeah, exactly. The Fallen Angel. Yeah. Can I just welcome Paul, Mir? I think Keith as well's in there. Have we got Gary this week? I've not seen Gary in the chat this week, but nice to see you guys. Thanks for coming in. Getting involved.
It's a real shame that we had that interview with Kurt Angle saying he didn't want to return to the ring because he was a former X Division champion, weren't he?
Yeah. I would love to see Kurt Angle come back. That would have been awesome.
Well, I'll tell you this now. I'm very excited to find out who it's going to be. It's going to be great. I'm really, really looking forward to it. So then, I'll tell you what, actually, there's a couple of things. We just mentioned Jake Christ in there. So it'd be quite nice to move that one on and say happy anniversary to the former Golden Draw, the ex-champ, Jake Christ, and former knockout, Nevaeh Christ. 20 years. How awesome is that? Congratulations, guys. 20 years is fantastic. Well done, you guys. Let's just get a drink. Here's to another 20. Well done, guys. All the best.
Congrats.
Right. Also, we had on NWA Empower event, we also had the Awesome Kong. It was weird. She didn't actually say the words "I'm retiring," but she sort of said "I'm done," didn't she, or something? So, but the retirement of Awesome Kong in the ring, of course, with a very, very emotional embrace with her friend Gail Kim. All I've got to say is all the best, Awesome Kong. Thank you so much for everything that you did during your time at TNA. I actually was lucky enough to see an Awesome Kong versus Gail Kim match live at the Impact Zone in Orlando. And it was an amazing match. They were, it was an amazing feud that went on there. And you can totally see that, how emotional it was for Kia Stevens, and Gail Kim. Really, really an emotional embrace there. I thought, let's just wish her all the best in her future endeavors, as they would say. What are your thoughts on that?
Hail Queen Kong.
Exactly. Hail Queen Kong.
She was awesome. One of the standout knockouts when I got around to watching Impact Wrestling was Awesome Kong. She was just amazing, and I'm looking back at some of the matches she's had with Gail Kim now. I finally got my subscription up on Impact Plus, and it's amazing. Some of the matches she's had with Gail Kim and Taryn Terrell, they've just torn the shit, beat the hell out of each other, and it's amazing.
I love. You know what? Talking about Taryn Terrell, the promo she did on Gail, I thought was superb because she came out during that section with sort of like, oh, thank you, you know, like all stupid, crazy, you know, high pitched voice and everything. I thought she was brilliant, really, really good. But yeah, so anyway, all the best to Awesome Kong. You know, let's hope that we see you in some other capacities in the coming years with regards to wrestling, whether it be maybe a bit of commentary, doing a bit behind the scenes. Who knows? Maybe you've got a creative mind. I don't know. You certainly come up with a creative gimmick for yourself. So who knows where you might go in the future. Also, I just want to mention that Heath has once again been promoting his return to Impact and is unhappy at the way his friend Rhino is being treated with VBD. Now, I know you're a big Heath fan, Joe.
Yes.
So do you want to give us a bit more on this?
Yeah, if you have most of it, you can find on his Instagram page, and that he's been taking screenshots of all the recent events from Violent by Design, where they're talking about failure, and you can see Rhino's disposition compared to everybody else. He's got his head down. He's always looking ashamed of himself. Heath is saying, "This isn't the man that should be the man beast." And things like that, and he's also showing more videos and stuff about him saying, "I just can't wait to get back into the ring." Hashtag Impact Wrestling. You know, he's showing his work in the gym. He's just bulking up the company and paying more attention to what's happening between Rhino and Violent by Design again, and trying to get Terry to call him.
Yeah, exactly.
So
yeah, exactly.
I really do think that come Bound for Glory, we're going to see Heath again.
I think we are too.
I really am looking forward to it.
I think he's definitely going to appear at Bound for Glory without any shadow of a doubt. I think that's where he's heading to. And to be fair, I'm glad that he's not rushed back, because if he'd have rushed back, then he's only more than likely going to injure himself again. So it's good that he's taking the time out. He's getting well. He's getting fit. He's getting trained up. You know, he's still promoting Impact. He's still pushing a potential story with him and Rhino. So. You know, I'm looking forward to Heath coming back. Heath for Impact. That's what I say. Heath for Impact. Again. Heath for Impact. Again. I like it. Yeah, definitely. Okay, so we also, going back to Empower, because I have to say it was a really, really good show. I enjoyed it. I mean, the production value of it wasn't great, but you know, some of the camera angles leave a lot to be desired. But the actual in-ring action from the ladies that took part was superb. I really enjoyed it. So we had Chelsea Green winning the 10-woman gauntlet match to gain an NWA title shot at NWA 73 the following night. But obviously she loses. But in a very strong showing from all ladies concerned. You know, what were your thoughts on Chelsea Green? Certainly at Empower, I thought she was fantastic. She was like the first one in as well. So it was her, Kiera Hogan sort of kind of kicked it off. I think the last four was Kiera Hogan was in there with Chelsea Green as well. You know, I really enjoyed this match. I thought it was really good. And, you know, I thought it was great that Chelsea came out the victor. What were your thoughts on this one, Joe?
I've yet to watch the pay-per-view, but I'm hearing that Chelsea Green gone from end to end. It doesn't surprise me that it was going to be her more than anybody else, because she's such a big name and still got all that momentum from leaving WWE on her. You know, the fact that she's got that publicity on, so her winning the match and going on to head to NWA 73, it just makes perfect sense. I know there's plenty of people in that match had a massive good spot. Lady Frost, for one, was another one who really stood out as well. She
did some sort of corkscrew thing off the top row. I don't know what it was called, but it was badass.
Oh, yeah, she's like this corkscrew moonsault that Charlotte Flair's copied off of her.
Right. Yeah, I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah,
fantastic.
And Chelsea Green, she's doing exactly what Matt Cardona's doing. He's come out from WWE and he's just shooting to the main spotlight of everywhere they're going, and that's the best way to get yourself rebranded. And that's exactly what Chelsea Green's doing. She's going there to rebrand herself before saying, "This is where I'm going to go and this is where I'm staying." Or the way I see it, she might just be staying as an independent wrestler, going place to place, and it's working out better for Matt Cardona that way.
Yeah.
Well, I think what it does is it certainly brings plenty of eyes to them. That's for sure. It brings plenty of eyes, and then once they once they stop and they sort of kind of start to focus more on the brand that they're going to stay with, which is hopefully Impact Wrestling. I mean, the way that they seem to promote Impact Wrestling, I would say it was Impact Wrestling for them is their main show. So, you know, because they definitely push Impact. They're on the roster page. They're definitely with Impact Wrestling. So I think the way that they're pushing it just goes to show that, you know, the more that they get around some of these other events, the more eyes potentially will move on to Impact because they're going to want to see more of Matt and Chelsea. That's the way I look at it. What about you, Steve? What do you think? I'm just going to switch the light on, lads, so talk amongst yourselves.
No worries. Yeah, like I say, the match itself was really good, and a few of the women in here really stood out. Like you said, Lady Frost had a fantastic showing. I'm kind of going to be that guy, though, and say nothing against Chelsea because I thought she had a fantastic showing, but part of me, due to the booking, was feeling like I really didn't want Chelsea to win it because she came in first. And
it's just too obvious.
Well, that and like I think the last 3 gauntlets that I've seen, or Rumble matches or whatever, we've seen the person who's entered first win it. Like at Bound for Glory, we saw Rhino come in at first and win it. Yeah, that wasn't planned, but it happened. And then we saw a women's Rumble Impact with when Kylie Ray came in at first and she won it. And then the year before, I think at Bound for Glory, Eddie Edwards come in at first and won it. It kind of seems to be happening too often now.
Yeah, it's not got that shock factor and wow factor.
No. Someone comes in at first and wins it, and you think, "Oh, it's happened again."
Yeah, it's the same with tournaments. You look at the brackets, you see someone in the top right and someone in the bottom left, and you know those two are most likely going to go to the end. And
I get that.
Right and bottom left, I meant not top right and bottom right, because that's just going to crash into each other straight afterwards.
Bless you. Hello, Jason. Welcome to the chat. Hello, Zach, as well. Nice to see you in there, buddy. Randy Sam's in there as well, which is great. Keith's in the house. Nice to see you, bud. I'm not sure what you're talking about there, Zach, with confessions. I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about, mate. Anyway, moving on.
Me not seeing the NWA stuff yet.
He's saying 2 of the 3. Who's the other one that's got to confess? Is it me? I don't know. But anyway, Bonkers is in the house. Hello, buddy. Nice to see you. Nice to mention. Yeah, of course, Trevor Murdoch also beat the most interesting wrestler in history, Nick Aldis, for the NWA title, which is fantastic news. But Trevor is got to be probably the most ordinary looking guy ever to win a world title. I honestly thought he was just basically coming out in his pants, to wrestle. But I have to say, I've never really seen too much of Trevor, but I have to say the guy is damn good.
I like him. I like Trevor. He's got a lot. He's got a lot of character in that. I never sort of see champion, world champion in him. He's one of those guys I always saw like, if he was in Impact, like X Division, I never sort of saw him as world champion, but I like him. He's a good guy.
Yeah, he's definitely a good guy. He's got something about him, hasn't he? But like I said, he definitely looks like he was just wearing his pants to the ring.
He has to come back to Impact. He has to come back to Impact and redo his stand-up character. That was fantastic.
Oh man, oh man, how good, fantastic. Right, okay. Moving on, we had a killer promo from Macklin last week on BTI, and the feud between him, PT, TJ seems to be brewing quite nicely. What about this? I think Joe's a massive Macklin fan. What are your thoughts on this, Joe?
This is what I love. This promo last week, it just proved that Steve Macklin's in the right place. He bounced off the crowd and integrated with the crowd perfectly throughout this entire promo. He let them jeer him, and then cut them off, and then jeered them back. And in between, while he's trying to actually get his point across too, he didn't let them overpower him. He shut them up rather than they shut him up. And So, and you know, we saw him on the mic a couple of weeks beforehand. He was very brief, and you couldn't really hear what he was saying. This time, even with the crowd shouting louder and louder and louder, you got a clear cut promo from him to the point, saying that he's killed everyone on the X division. So give me someone who's actually worthy of fighting. And then we get TJP coming out of all people, and that was a great sight to see as well. I didn't think TJP would be back so soon because of his nose injury. I thought he'd be gone for a little while longer.
Well, there was all speculation that he was gone, wasn't there?
Yeah.
That he'd finished up with us, but no, he's back. He'd suffered an injury to his nose, hadn't he? And I think there was did he have an issue with his shoulder as well or something? Because people were like, oh, well, he was at MLW the following day. Well, it's taped, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
He broke his nose back at Rebellion. Before Rebellion, he wrestled just like Xander through the Ironman match with a broken nose.
Yeah.
So you know that's how long ago his nose was broken, and he went through that 60 minutes of Josh Alexander with a broken nose. So
yeah, that's insane, isn't it? When you think about it, that is insane. You know. Yeah. But anyway, so we're looking forward to seeing where that one pans out. I think Macklin's definitely been promoting Bound for Glory as well. But yeah, interesting stuff, definitely. Now, are we heading towards a Sammy and Eddie tag team, guys? Possibly at BFG.
Fingers crossed. I've called it a while. I want to see Sammy Callahan and Eddie Edwards versus the Good Brothers, even if it's just slapped together for the sake of slapping it together. I don't care. It would be awesome. Or we'll probably get Sammy Callahan and Eddie Edwards versus W. Morrissey and somebody else. But if it's Moose, then that's a waste of time for Moose, because Moose should be going for Ace Austin and Christian at Bound for Glory, in my opinion.
Sammy, sorry, say that again. They should be heading.
If it's not the Good Brothers versus Eddie and Sammy Callahan, it's going to be W. Morrissey and Moose in my eyes.
Okay.
Given how things are going with Moose and Sabin and Sammy Callahan after the last week, when Eddie Edwards had to go out and save Sammy Callahan because Moose nearly broke Sammy Callahan's eye the same way he did to Eddie. So I'm thinking that Eddie Edwards and W. Morrissey isn't over. So so he's going to be attacking Eddie Edwards, and so Sammy and Eddie are going to be doing what Drew McIntyre and EC3 were doing when Matt Hardy was world champion. They're going to be constantly getting in each other's way, and rather than they're either going to have to fight it out between each other, or I see it more going towards working together to move forward this time, because we've had them go to war. I mean, they kicked off the year with that barbed wire massacre, and well, what else can they do to each other, really? So
it's just insane, isn't it? Yeah. Just insane.
Put them together, let them hug it out as Sammy Callahan's requested, and
what? No hug?
Yeah,
I get it. Yeah, why not? Why not?
Sammy Callahan and Eddie Edwards versus the Good Brothers, or Sammy Callahan and Eddie Edwards versus Moose and W. Morrissey at Bound for Glory. Although I think Moose should be going for Ace Austin and Christian Cage to come Bound for Glory.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. I think we could. I just have this feeling we're going to get Christian Cage versus Moose versus Ace Austin.
Yeah,
for the Impact title. Bound for Glory.
And happy birthday to Sammy Callahan too. Before we forget, guys.
Oh, bloody hell, mate! That's on my list of things to do. Ain't got there yet. Jesus. No, happy birthday, Sammy. Bless you. Okay, so we get some more stuff on the socials. We got Rosemary hints at a possible tag champion versus tag champion match with the Hex, the newly crowned NWA women's tag team of Allysin Kay, or Sienna, as all you TNA guys may remember, and of course Marty Bell. Now that I have to be honest with you. Again, that was one of the better matches. The tag title match was really, really strong, I thought. At Empower, I really enjoyed that match. So actually, I would quite like to see this. I mean, face the facts, Rosemary, Havoc, Allysin Kay, Marty Bell, they all know each other fairly well.
Oh yeah.
So if they were to get in an Impact ring, I think it would be a really, really good match.
Definitely.
I'm not so sure it needs to be title for title though.
I was thinking the exact same thing.
I don't see it being title for title, but I'd love to see them come together.
It would be nice, even if it's just a one-off at, say, Victory Road or something. That would be quite cool.
I mean, both women have history in the company, don't they?
Yes, they do. We have the dollhouse. We had the she skunk with the bunny.
The she skunk. We love the she skunk. Yeah, no, I love it.
Does every match now have to be a title for title?
No, it doesn't.
Exactly. No, it doesn't. I agree. Just a good old fashioned slobber knocker of a match, and bragging rights for the win. That sort of thing.
But no,
that's all
they were definitely an impressive team, and given
They
how
are.
given how Impact's knockout tag team division is, and they're slowly building it, they can definitely be a good addition if they just bring them in for a set of tapings or something.
Totally agree. And of course, we've got the influence now as well. We'll get to them in a second. So we've got Brian Myers is looking for more young talents to tutor under the tutoring tree of the most professional wrestler himself. Several have appeared offering promos. We've had the likes of Slade, Bobby Orlando, Christian Thursday or Sorin, Colby Cohen, Corey, Manny Lemons, and one of the most interesting ones for me is it Malachi or Malachi? I don't really know. I don't really know any of these guys. I don't recognize any of them at all. There was one. I think it was Colby Cohen, possibly, or it might have been Corey. That literally just said, teach me, I want to be a professional, or take me on or something, or I'm going to kill you. And that was it. That was basically it. Like, that was the promo, take me on or I'm going to kill you. I was like, oh, okay. There's an interesting one. But the Malachi one was very interesting. I say Malachi, I don't know, Malachi. I don't know how to say it. It's Malachi, Malachi. I think that's what it is, possibly. But he seemed very interested. A lot of people were going, he looks like Braun Strowman, because he said he was 6'6" monster.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure on that one. So it's interesting. It's interesting. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, that's Braun Strowman. That's Braun Strowman." I'm sorry, I don't think that they'll bring Braun Strowman in under the learning tree of Brian Myers. I can't see that happen. So that's definitely not him. But he seemed the most interesting one for me, and I quite liked Manny Lemons as well. I thought he was funny. So I quite liked him. What about your thoughts, guys?
Yeah,
this is the first I've heard about Myers. All these guys coming to Myers. I know he did during his split last week with Sam Beale. He was still trying to get Sam Beale to follow his teachings in, and as that ended, he was saying that I need to get somebody else. So I was thinking that maybe all that would come to fruition this week. I didn't know things had already got underway for it. So I'm interested to have a look, see where I can find these auditions and have a look at everyone. But it's great to see Brian Myers just expanding and building his character from after that amazing match with Christian. It just shows that just because he's lost this match, it's not killed his momentum and it's not killed his character. He's just he's carrying on like nothing's happened, and it's just making really, really good promo work. And so I'm interested to see where this is going. It's just a great story developing.
I tell you what I have noticed as well, before we head over to you, Steve, on this one, is that Sam Beale's promo skills have improved so much.
Yes.
Like, they've improved loads as well. Sorry, Steve, what were your thoughts on this?
Yeah, like personally, I mean, I haven't seen all the videos. I just sort of quickly looked at who they were. I recognize Slade and I recognize Manny Lemons.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Manny Lemons recently appeared on Impact. I think he was going by the name of Manny Smith. I think.
Yeah, he may have been.
I think he was one of the guys that Macklin beat up on a 3-on-1. I think.
That's right, he was. Yes, now I remember.
Oh yes.
Yeah, but yeah, like he's appeared a few times, I think. But yeah, like this is going to be interesting to see where this goes, because I find that Beale and Myers have such good chemistry. This can either go get even better, or it can add a fifth wheel in and kind of take something away. So it's going to be interesting to see where this goes.
Oh, totally. I totally agree with that as well. Now, something else which I think is really, really great to see as well is the Impact roster promoting the Skyway tapings in September. We've had Cardona, we've had Myers, we've had all the Good Brothers, Eric Young, Eddie Edwards. They've all been promoting on socials recently, doing their own little videos, telling people come and see them at Skyway and all that kind of stuff. I think it's great to see that because it shows it the roster themselves are very much invested in the product. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm sure they've all had an email. Can you promote this, please? I'm sure. But if they weren't invested, they wouldn't do it, would they?
No.
So it's great. It's great to see that. I mean, what are your thoughts on that, Joe?
Well, jump onto Sami Callihan's Twitter page and have a look at his profile. One of his recent tweets is saying it's my fucking birthday, buy some tickets.
Is that right?
Something along the lines of that. So, that's how Sami Callihan pushed the company. He's always a company guy. I think it's great to see that, like you said, the talent's pushed in the company as you'd expect them to. There's that proper showing that they are a solid unit. They're not just there for the sake of being there. They're not lost in the sauce, as Eli Drake would say. And it's just great to see that promotion and integration with the fans is back on Impact Wrestling's agenda a bit more.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
They push the product just off their own backs because they want to, not because they're probably getting prodded saying, "Look, push our product."
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, no, I think they're doing it off their own backs, definitely. I do think that they are getting emails to say, "Come on, guys, let's start."
Oh,
pushing.
yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. The likes of like Matt Cardona. I mean, he's got like 2 million followers for crying out loud. He should definitely be promoting. The same as Chelsea, the same with Tennille. Because Tennille's been doing it.
You've got to put your end in too.
You have to. I mean, they're investing in you. So you've got to invest in the company. You know what I mean? You've got to invest in everything that you can do to get people watching the product. And that is important. In all aspects of any business, it doesn't matter what it is. You've got to be invested. And clearly these guys are. And this is why I say that clearly, your Matt Cardonas, your Chelsea Greens, they are clearly invested in Impact Wrestling because of the way that they promote it on the socials. And I love to see that. I'd say something else. Talking about Twitter, actually, you got Chris Bay owning a mark on Twitter after he asked him if he preferred to be on SmackDown or Raw. Stating he's exactly where he wants to be with Impact Wrestling. Again, this is what we're talking about. This is supporting your brand.
Yeah. Rosemary's the same. Eddie Edwards is the same. Sami Callihan's the same. Even Havoc. They've all said that they're happy sticking with Impact Wrestling and they're not really interested in going elsewhere. And it's great to see. The way Chris Bay did it was absolutely fantastic. And it made me laugh seeing him shut this guy up.
Oh, completely. I mean, the guy then started eating humble pie, which is interesting as well. But
it's funny how like Impact has had a solid product week in, week out, but yet for quite a while now, the WWE hasn't really had much of a product on. But they'll try to start an argument, and they don't really have one to give.
No, they've got no argument because their product sucks. So what exactly are you so excited about? Why would Chris Bay want to go and be on SmackDown or Raw when it sucks? And everybody knows it sucks. So, other than a massive payday, I can't see any other reason why you'd want to be there. I
saw something the other day where Macklin was giving an interview and saying how he was happy to be in Impact and he's got everything that he wants. And I'm assuming he was a WWE fan. He said, "Well, Impact can have this job. He done nothing in WWE." And it's like, he done nothing because he was never booked.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't blame Macklin, can you?
Exactly.
can't blame McLean. No, he didn't do anything in WWE because they never booked him. They never pushed him. Now, you could say, oh, well, maybe they didn't see anything in him. Well, yeah, maybe. Maybe they didn't see anything in him. Or maybe they just got too many flipping roster members.
Well, that attitude is biting them in the ass really hard with Deonna Purrazzo. So, you know.
Oh, totally. I get that 100%. I think my only worry is that, and this is a worry I've got for AEW as well, is that they start, like AEW at the moment is almost hoarding every single release from the WWE pretty much. And that's worrying me a little bit because, you know, eventually you start to see the comparisons between AEW and WCW. You know, they're going to implode. They're going to end up with a ginormous wage bill, which is not, it's just, you don't need it. You've got some great talent there. Just go with what you've got, you know, build up the indie guys as well, you know, and create your own roster. Yes, with a sprinkling of, you know, known names from a bigger brand, if that's what you need to do. But, you know, and I agree. And the one thing Impact lacks is probably, you know, a Bray Wyatt. That's probably what they're lacking. A Bray Wyatt or a Braun Strowman to turn up. That's what they are lacking. And if Impact can bring in a couple of big draws, a couple of big names, then it would benefit them massively. You know, whereas for me, all AEW do is just buy everything, you know, everything going and just chuck enough of these talents at the wall and hopefully some of them will stick. You know, I mean, I don't know. That's the way I look at it. But anyway, it's good to see. Now, also, I'm sure that the reason that they're pushing, you know, the tickets for these tapings in Nashville is more to do with the day tickets. Now, you know, I'm pretty certain that the evening sessions, because they do 2 sessions a day, don't they? Do like almost like a matinee and an evening session tapings. That's what they do on the 3 days. Now, I'm sure that all 3 evenings are probably sold out. It's those day sessions. And you've got to remember, they're doing it. It's Sunday, Monday, and a Tuesday, I believe. They do it, don't they? I think it is Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So it's during the week. So those ones are going to be really difficult to fill out because people are at work. Like, you know what I mean? So, you know, you can't say, oh, they're struggling to sell out 200 tickets at Skyway. Well, they probably are for when most people are at work. You know, you've got to, you know, you've got to think about these sort of things that, you know, these are the things that they're having to deal with. But anyway, moving on from that, I mean, again, talking about Chris Bay, he was also looking very impressive this past week on Impact, gaining a huge victory over New Japan Pro versus David Finlay. And it was a bloody good match, boys. Bloody good match. What were your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, well, we knew it was going to be a good match when we just saw who was going to be in the match. And yeah, as you say, it didn't disappoint. You know, 2 fantastic talents. And I mean, we know Chris Bay is good anyway, but we saw that little bit of extra bite from him now that he's starting to get this like relationship with, you know, Jay White. I won't say Bullet Club yet because we've only seen Jay White. But yeah, there seemed to be that little extra step in him.
Yeah, I agree. He's got a bit of swagger now, hasn't he? I think that's what we're looking for.
Even commentary pointed it out.
Yeah,
just got this swagger. Come on, Joe.
The new look, the change in his music, everything just clicked a lot better. And the way the match was awesome, and the finish was brilliant as well. It wasn't a clean victory from Chris Bay. He still cheated to win, just to add insult to injury. The fact that David Finlay was on his own, it was great, and the match was awesome. And Chris Bay's just proving that he's another guy who Impact Wrestling is so lucky to have on their roster, and it's good and has no intention of going anywhere else. It's just great to see Chris Bay is one of these guys that's so invested in where he's working, and he's going to go flat out wherever he is.
Yeah, one thing that's interesting about this match is that what Iceman said on Before the Impact, that he doesn't think that Bay or White had anything to do with Juice Robinson's attack. So that's going to be something to keep an eye on, isn't it?
Yeah.
There you go. So Mir's just pointing out that the tapings are Thursday, so it'll be Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So again, that's the only ones I think that they'll probably struggle with selling the tickets for will be the matinee performances on a Thursday and a Friday. Like I say, people are at work. You know, that's where it's going to be probably a little bit sticky. And of course, they're going to want as many fans obviously in there as possible because that looks better on TV. But you know, I'm sure they'll sell them out. I'm pretty certain that in the end they'll sell them out. Okay, so you know, very, very, very impressive performance from Chris. Like you say, he got brand spanking new music. His entrance was you know, his new video or Titantron or whatever you want to call it was pretty badass as well. You know, really, really good. That's it's the picture that's on his new T-shirt, isn't it?
Yeah,
believe.
That's the fastest selling T-shirt on Impact.com now.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Have they actually said that? Have they?
Yeah, they said that after Chris Bay had come into the ring. They mentioned his shirt, and then they plugged it there. It's already pretty much sold out already.
Wow. Oh, but that's amazing. You know, at the end of the day, he deserves it. You know, he's a fantastic talent. I'm so happy he decided to come to Impact Wrestling. I loved interviewing him. I found him quite dry. He was actually quite difficult to interview to begin with because he came across as sort of so laid back that you had to lead him quite a lot. But he was, really, really nice fella. And I'm proper taken by him. I think he's going to be such a massive star. And I'm glad that he's found his home in Impact Wrestling. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Moving on to tomorrow night on Impact. Obviously, we start the night off with the BTI match, or with BTI. We've got a match set up for that, which is John Schuyler versus Jake something. Now, I believe that this is going to be a very interesting match because you've got two fairly big dudes. I mean, John Schuyler's sort of pretty stocky. I think they're both very similar in height and stature. So this is going to be a very interesting match. I think hopefully it's going to be a match where we see John Schuyler shine. Like I say, he's one of the latest pickups for Impact's roster. So, you know, we don't really want to see. I mean, as much as I want to see Jake do well, I don't necessarily want to see him squash John Schuyler, if that makes sense. I just want to see a really good match. I'm sure Jake will end up winning, but you know, I think it's going to. I'm hoping it's going to be a good match. They get a decent amount of time, don't they? They get a good 15 minutes, 10-15 minutes, so it should be a good match. What about you, Joe? What do you think on this one, Schuyler versus something?
I'm interested. I've heard the name John Schuyler before, but I've never seen him wrestle before. And given the match on BTI, like you said, it's going to be a good 10-15 minutes at least. So Jake something and is going to give him a run for his money. We're going to see a lot of back and forth between the both of them. We're going to see just a good, decent match to get everyone ready to kick off Impact Wrestling. So it's everything you really want. Really, you want a good exhibition match. Put someone like Jake something in the ring and see what you guys need to do.
Yeah, I agree. What about you, Steve? What do you think?
Yeah, as I say, I'm intrigued with this. And partly I can see Schuyler getting the win through some underhanded tactics.
Yeah. Gary's in the chat saying Trent's favourite, John Schuyler. I take it you're not too. I don't know. I saw something when John Schuyler debuted with Trent was like, oh god. So I obviously doesn't like him very much. But there you go.
It's hard to judge him on that one performance. Like I say, I've seen a lot more. I've seen a lot more of this guy, and he, you know, there is more to him.
Yeah. No, I get it. I get that, and I'm looking forward to see how it builds. I don't think they would sign him if they didn't think he had something special. So I'm looking forward to see how he develops. We then move into obviously the Impact Wrestling matches for the night. Now, the first one I want to talk about is Ace Austin versus Tommy Dreamer. Now, I don't get this match other than it was a way of giving Ace something to do before Victory Road. I don't get it at all. You know, because bottom line is this: if Tommy Dreamer beats Ace Austin, then that pretty much fucks Ace Austin, doesn't it? Like, if Tommy Dreamer gets the win over the up and coming young upstart Ace Austin, then That's basically killed any momentum they could possibly give Ace Austin straight off the bat, because they're going to be, well, if he can't beat Tommy Dreamer, he's got no hope of beating Christian Cage. So you've got a sort of kind of, I don't know. For me, I think this is a weird match. I'm not particularly looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing Ace Austin because I'm a big fan of Ace Austin, but this is not for me, this match. Joe, what are your thoughts?
I'm a bit on the fence of it about it too, but I say if Tommy Dreamer wins, then it could lead to Ace Austin going to Bound for Glory versus Christian Cage. Tommy Dreamer will lose that then, and also if the other way I think I can see is it could be a way to get Madman Fulton not to interfere in Victory Road. Is if Ace Austin picks up the win, or if Tommy Dreamer picks up the win, Madman Fulton will then obviously get involved and attack Tommy Dreamer one way or another, and then that'll get him banned from ringside. So Ace Austin's going to have to go into Victory Road on his own.
Yeah, I guess so.
I see. If anything, I think this match should have been Christian versus Tommy Dreamer on Impact Wrestling, and if Tommy Dreamer beat Christian, and he goes to Victory Road, or just give him a title match on Impact Wrestling. But I'm a big fan of Tommy Dreamer, but this one had me scratching my head a little bit, and they already did this earlier in the year with Rich Swann and Tommy Dreamer as well. So I was thinking it's twice in 1 year. It doesn't go well for people who are a bit pissed off with seeing Tommy Dreamer as much as it's just not for me. It's just not for me. Steve, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, Hakeem's just put something in the chat, and to be honest, when this segment came up on Impact, that was my initial thought. The match would happen, and Fulton would probably get involved and cause a DQ, and then that would lead to Dreamer getting added into the Victory Road match, and then we'd have Cage win the match by pinning Dreamer, and leading to Ace getting another shot down the road, maybe at Bound for Glory.
Yeah.
Therefore,
there is that possibility.
Keeping Ace from getting pinned.
Yeah.
Whatever happens, Ace Austin cannot get pinned, or lose to Tommy Dreamer tomorrow night. If he does, the Bison gets the Beefalo on. Right? So that's it. The Beefalo will be flowing. Okay, so moving on to our next match, we've got Decay, obviously Taurus and Crazy Steve versus Falaba and No Way. Now, this is an interesting one because I'm actually a bit of a fan. I'm a fan of Falaba. We all know that. Not overly keen on No Way, but I think he needs a gimmick change. Massive fan of Decay. So I want to see Decay. I want to see Decay win on this one, because I think it's time for Taurus and Steve to make another good strong tag team run. I don't know. What are your thoughts on this one, Steve?
Yeah. It's interesting what you said about No Way, because he put up something the other day saying that his gimmick has a shelf life and he's looking to change it. So there is the possibility that maybe this match or a match coming up could maybe change something with his gimmick, or even him and Fala. So yeah, for me, Decay definitely wins it, and I would say keep an eye on what happens with these two going forward.
Okay, what about you, Joe?
I'm thinking about what Tasha Steelz is going to do. If Falaba and No Way lose, I think Tasha Steelz is going to be the one to twist them both into a full-blown heel roll. I don't think Crazy Steve and Black Taurus are going to lose this match. It's just that they've had such a great build since homecoming. Rosemary and Crazy Steve going all the way to the final. Black Taurus getting that massive match with Josh Alexander and excelling through it despite losing, and the momentum just built up and up and up from there for Decay. It'll be a shame now to just knock it back for something that can be built into a bigger long-term rivalry between. And I think that's where it's going. I think they're going to lose, and Tasha Steelz is going to slap Falaba around and slap No Way around a bit more. Really, really.
Okay.
I think they might be becoming that unit that I was thinking Tasha Steelz is going to set up with somebody else.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, you never know. I mean, it's interesting. I just think no way. Like, if you were to shave off the hair, well, not to shave it off, but cut the hair short, maybe shave it off. The dude is like 6'3", 6'4", something. He's a big guy. You know, he is a big, strong lad. You know, I think, you know, get rid of all the stupid conga line stuff. Stick him in some proper gear. I think you've got probably a badass heel in the making right there.
The only downside is when you look at the tag teams, they don't have many babyface tag teams.
Yeah.
No. Well, you got Swan and Mac. They're babyface.
And that's about it, isn't it?
I think you're probably right.
Stephen Baxter is technically face as well.
You could say Decay. Yeah, you could say Decay face because they're so over. Because they're so over. You know, they're sort of kind of tweeners, aren't they?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited. I think it's going to be a good match, and I'm going to go with Decay on this one, definitely.
Yeah.
Now, we hit briefly, or we spoke actually quite a lot on Josh Alexander's Open Challenge earlier. So I'm not going to go too much into this one. But let's face the facts. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing who this opponent's going to be. And I think, again, this could be match of the night.
Undoubtedly. Undoubtedly, it's going to be the match of the night. It's Josh Alexander.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, the guy just doesn't have bad matches, does he?
If it's not a match tonight, and then Josh Alexander's not been on the card.
No.
No, exactly. I mean, you know, he's just the man, isn't he? Let's face the facts. He is the man. Oh yeah. So in the moment as well, he just can't do no wrong, can he? I've noticed like he's booked all over the place, which is fantastic for him. I'm so pleased to see how well he's doing now. It's awesome. But we're looking forward to this one. Not a lot we can really say other than, you know, we think it's going to be match of the night. So I'm looking forward to this one. We then got Rohit and Shira versus Matt Cardona and Chelsea Green. Now, interestingly enough, it makes sense because obviously, you know, Rohit and Matt, and then you've got Shira being obviously the female, and Chelsea Green as well in there. So, you know, this is sort of almost an intergender tag match, isn't it?
Yeah. Did you see the promo Shira put out leading up to this match over the last week?
Yes, I did,
him and Rohit are backstage, and Shira's really putting over that he does not want to hit Chelsea Green, and he's basically calling Matt Cardona out and saying, be a man, and Rohit goes on and starts promoting equality like he did before. You know, he's got no problem smacking a woman around. He's got no problem doing this, that. When he was X Division champion, he took on Jordan Grace.
Yes, exactly.
So this match is going to be awesome. You know, if he can knock Jordan Grace out the way he did, and I can't wait to see what he does to Chelsea Green, and I can't wait to see what she does to him. I want to see her whack him with the Canadian Destroyer.
Yeah. Hakeem's got some interesting points. Sorry, he's just mentioned a few different people for the Open Challenge. He's put in there, what about Tajiri, Ishimori, or Sanada?
If it's Ishimori, I'd be over the moon.
Yeah, you've got some awesome talents there from New Japan.
Yeah.
You never know. Obviously, Austin Aries being mentioned again. I'm not sure that's going to happen, but you never know.
Gary's put in, you know, we didn't mention earlier, Jerry Lynn.
Who, sorry? Jerry Lynn. Yeah, Jerry Lynn is another one. Yeah,
I don't know how
he's definitely getting on.
Is, but
he's definitely not in the ring these days, is he? He's a producer, isn't he, for AEW? But you never know. Never know. But going back to Rohit and Shira, I think Shira's promo skills are definitely improving. They were really bad before, but they definitely improved. I suppose having Rohit by his side, probably helping him out, practicing promos before they do them. I'm sure that's certainly helped him a lot. I still think they were going to get a Matt Cardona Chelsea Green win on this one. Just purely and simply because they've got so much momentum at the moment. It just makes sense that they would win. So that's an interesting one, definitely. Now, moving on to I think the last match we got advertised, which doesn't mean that we won't get any others. I don't think we will, though, because we've got the open challenge in there. But you've got the newly formed Influence of Madison Rain and Tennille Dashwood versus Taylor Wilde, Jordan Grace, and Rachel Ellering. Now, probably the three of my, other than Rosemary, I'd probably say that Taylor, Grace, and Rachel Ellering are my favorite knockouts at the moment. Absolutely smashing it. So I'm hoping for a win from those three. However, I have a feeling it's possibly going to be the Influence that win. But again, they're starting to build some tag teams in the knockouts division now. Because let's face it, they're not going to stick the Influence together for 5 minutes. They've come up with a name. They're doing it properly. I'm sure they're going to have some ring gear and all sorts of stuff now. So they've created a proper full-on female knockouts tag team in the Influence. I still believe that is some sort of prelude or some kind of like Easter egg or foreshadowing of the incoming inspiration, the Iconics. I'm pretty sure that we've got something going on with that. But again, I'm sure the Influence are going to win this. Because I think that's the team that they're going to want to push at the moment. I don't know. What are your thoughts? Mir keeps asking me why I keep saying She-Ra. They're picking up on it. The tribe is picking up on it, lads. Who wants to explain that one to Mir?
When you're talking at 100 miles an hour, try and say it.
What? Try and say She-Ra.
Shira, try and keep that in your mind when you're talking 100 miles an hour. You tend to cock it up.
No, I'm definitely saying She-Ra. I'm definitely doing it. 100% on purpose. I'm doing it. And that's because, if you remember, lads, a couple of weeks ago, I said to you guys that it dawned on me when I saw She-Ra come up on the screen on the Impact Zone that it reminded me of the cartoon character She-Ra, spelled exactly the same, but without obviously the chevron in the middle. Yeah, so she was remember they brought out He-Man, Masters of the Universe. There was then there was She-Ra, the female version.
Oh right.
Yeah, so it just reminds me every time I see She-Ra, it reminds me of She-Ra. But there you go. That's just me. What am I saying? Yeah, He-Man's sister. There you go. See? Trent knows what I'm talking about. It was He-Man's sister. She-Ra. That's what I see every time I see She-Ra. But anyway, that's what it is, Mir. That's what it is, my brother. And Bonkers is asking about it as well. Bonkers is asking, he's popping that one up there as well. She-Ra. He remembers She-Ra. Let's face it, She-Ra was quality, mate. He was quality. But anyway, so there's a lot going on at the moment. I think we've got some great matches put up there. There's still loads of talent on the roster that we're not seeing all the time. I still think we've got room to have that second show, guys. I really, really do.
Is it Odark? Because he's also owes my money?
I love that promo. I love it. Go on, She-Ra. But anyway, but his skills have improved. He's definitely got better. Maybe he's been having some English lessons and stuff. I don't know. Am I sounding a bit bugged up as well? Because I've got a bit of a snotty nose, so I probably sound a bit bugged up. So I apologise for that. But anyway, so we've got one hell of a night. Tomorrow. So we've got some great matches. A quick rundown again. So we're going to see who we're going to see in action for BTI. We're going to see John Skyler versus Jake Something, the BTI match. We've got Ace Austin versus Tommy Dreamer. We've got Decay, Taurus and Steve versus Falabat and Nevaeh. We've got the Josh Alexander Open Challenge. Fingers crossed for the Golden Draw. Rohit and She-Ra versus Matt Cardona and Chelsea Green. We've got the new formed tag team of Madison Rain and Tennille Dashwood, the Influence, versus
Caleb with the K.
And Caleb with a K. He's part of the Influence, isn't he?
Yeah.
Versus Taylor Wilde Jordan Grace and Rachel Ellering, hopefully wearing their brand spanking new, tag team attire, which would be really good. So, yeah, I think we've got one hell of a night. One hell of a night, guys. What do you think?
It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be a great night. I think we're all excited. We're looking forward to it. I hope everyone in the chat is looking forward to Impact tomorrow night. Like I say, don't forget, make sure you tune into BTI. Obviously, that's the hour before Impact. Make sure you check that out. If you're in the UK and you've got the Insiders package, don't forget it's on at 1:30 a.m. on the Friday morning, which is half an hour after it starts in the US. Again, that just allows us to be able to watch the show without any of the adverts. So be thankful for that. If you don't have Impact Insiders, but you've got Impact Plus, is available for 3 a.m. in the UK. Now, please don't forget to head over to the TNI Patreon for an exclusive extra content when you sign up, and also make sure you watch tomorrow night's TNI flagship Impact Live review directly after the show is aired on Twitch and YouTube. You never know who might turn up. Also, all TNI shows are available for all of you listen on the Go fans as audio only via SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, wherever you listen to your favorite shows. Where can we find you, Joe?
You can follow me on Twitter at JOKEmptyspace. You can jump onto WrestleBuddy.com and look for my articles there. I'm mostly covering the X Division and my premonition to Slammiversary, which some of it seems to come to fruition now. So I'm pretty pleased about that. Or you can jump onto Facebook. Look, if you want fancy to tickle your taste buds and step into the void and maybe test your sanity with the Daily Giggle. Look for #EmptySpace, #TheVoid, #Daily Giggle, and jump in. Just keep an open mind and you'll keep your sanity.
And what about you, Steve? Where we find you, bud?
You can find me over on Twitter at SimplySteve311, where I post everything Impact Wrestling related. Or you can also find me over at WrestleBuddy.com under Impact Wrestling header, where I put everything, all my Impact Wrestling articles, normally every Thursday.
Absolutely superb. And don't forget, you can find me on Twitter at LordBison45. Please head over, give me a follow, so you never miss any of the great content that we get from myself with regards to Impact Wrestling, NWA, AEW. I'm certainly well and truly part of the forbidden door right now. I'm starting to watch more than Impact, which is to the delight of my wife. But it's all good. It's all good for the fans. That's for sure. Can I just say, don't forget, guys, we've got the new TNI UK logo shirt available now via the TNI Pro Wrestling Tee shop. Make sure you get on there, check that out. Of course, all of the other TNI shirts are available on there as well. So that's pretty much it, really. One other thing, please take the time to help us moving up the rankings on YouTube by giving us a thumbs up. And if you're new to us and you like what you've seen, then click subscribe and don't forget to give the bell a little squeeze. Oh, and a tickle to never miss any of the great content from TNI UK and US teams each and every single week. And of course, head over to Patreon. I did mention that earlier. Well, this has been Impacted Live. We hope you enjoyed spending time with us as we talk about all the things Impact Wrestling related. Don't forget, guys, I do say that I talk about other promotions, but generally it's based on Impact talent. So if the Impact talent turn up on NWA or they turn up at AEW, I'll talk about it. That's pretty much how it works, okay? Or New Japan, wherever. But generally, that's what we do. We stick to the Impact talent, Impact Wrestling, Impact talent on the other shows, then we talk about it. But it's really good. It's really good to have you guys with us each and every week. We really, really appreciate it. With all that said, I've been Bison. They have been joining us from the empty space of his mind, the Joker, and of course, Simply Steve. And this has been episode 46 of Impacted. Take care, everyone.
Take care.
Take care.
We're Bison! We